Hi everybody, my name is Nicole and I want to welcome you to my first episode of Cupcakes, Cocktails, and Conversation. This concept of Cupcakes, Cocktails, and Conversation came about 2-3 years ago. I started hosting these parties in my home and I would get all my single friends, married friends, gay, straight, divorced, a little bit of everybody in my home. We would drink cocktails, eat cupcakes because I bake, and have long, in-depth conversations about everything. We didn't agree, we agreed, we shared everything we could. Most people were very honest because without the honesty, you can't really have a conversation. And from there, I was like, okay, well, what can I do with this? I have something really good going on. People keep asking when you're gonna do the next one, when you're gonna do the next one. And so from there, what I wanted to do was I wanted to host events, get other people, get tickets, maybe get some relationship experts. And I kind of looked around for places. They didn't really suit the needs that I wanted. And I kind of stopped looking. So I kept doing it in my home. And then one day I said, aha, a podcast. So I asked one of my friends, hey, do you want to do a podcast with me? He said, absolutely. A year later, that didn't happen. So where do I go? Do I keep waiting for people and waiting for people? No. I'm just going to have to talk to my dad myself. Now, I'm somewhere far outside the U.S. I can't drink. I can't have cupcakes. I don't have my home, but I have my lovely quarantine birthday cup here. And I want to talk to you people about some things. You know, eventually I'll have some people on. We'll have a little dialogue with some other people, have a little disagreements, whatever. But I want to talk about a line I heard in WAP. Mind you, I love WAP. I think that song is amazing. All the men that was angry about it and talking about it was vulgar, whatever. I've been listening to vulgarity from men for years. I'm 38 years old. I grew up in the 90s and the 80s, but especially the 90s, and they say the most. So go ahead, Cardi, go ahead, Megan, and say whatever you want, because guess what? Men been saying it for years, so if they don't like it, they don't have to listen. But one thing that was said, which we know it wasn't truthful. Cardi said, I don't cook, I don't clean. Somehow she got a ring. Here's the thing. I know people like this. I have known women in my single years that didn't cook, didn't clean, didn't have sex, and I couldn't figure out, why the heck did this man marry you? What do you offer? What do you bring to the table? It was very confusing to me. You know, I grew up with a mom who worked, cooked, cleaned, then she had kids that cleaned. They have kids, so clearly they was doing something. I want to know what they were doing. And, you know, my mom always had side hustles, this, side hustles, that. You know, her personality was winning. She brought a lot to the table. She didn't come into the marriage with nothing. You know, this man did not marry a woman who just sat at home with her 2 kids when they met each other. So it wasn't just it's not something that I was accustomed to. It wasn't that I thought that women shouldn't bring anything to the table. Now, there's nothing wrong with women that stay at home and don't work. If you have the ability to do that, go ahead. That's not for me. I don't, I have to work. In my marriage, I have not worked a few times, but that was for other reasons, not because I didn't want to work. We moved, and long story short, I didn't have a job for a couple of times. Somebody called me a housewife, and I said they lost their damn mind. I am unemployed. There's a big difference. I do not choose to be home. I just happen to be home. But anyway, if as a woman, you're not doing any of these things, what are you doing? If your expectation is don't cook, don't clean, don't sleep with your husband, and you ain't got no job, and you don't have no education, I feel like, what are you doing? What purpose do you serve? What do you do exactly? How did you get this man to marry you? And will it last? Will he get tired of you doing nothing? Like, I'm not quite understanding how these women get these men. Is it for the short term? Are we just seeing, I mean, in this day and age, are we just seeing the Insta thoughts out there? Ain't nothing wrong with an Instagram model, but I'm talking about the Insta thoughts out there, and they just trying to get a quick bag. They're trying to get a quick zaddy. I don't really get it. What is your purpose? What do you do? And why am I working so damn hard? I work. I am sexual. I cook. I clean. And no, I can cook. I clean. I'm out hundreds of thousands of miles away from home right now, you know, and one of the reasons why is to help my family get more financially stable, so we don't have to worry, so my husband doesn't have to pay all the bills and all the burden is not on him. Like, I want to bring money into my home. I want for my home to be financially stable for the both of us. You know, I don't want that burden to 100% be on my husband, even though he will take all of it. He will make sure that every bill is paid, the mortgage is paid on both homes. He'll make sure all that stuff is done. He'll make sure my daughter's tuition is done, food is in the house. He will ensure these things. But there's some things that I want, and there's luxuries that I like, vacationing and things of that nature, that for me it requires that both of us have jobs. Both of us bring home money so that we can live the life that we want. Because neither one of us are millionaires, but we do pretty well for ourselves. And then as far as a meal, like, why wouldn't I cook for my family? Why wouldn't I want my family to be fed? Yeah, there are situations where the man is just a better cook. And, you know, if that happens, by all means, let him. If your man's a chef, well, let him chef it up. But I'm sure he don't want to do that. He do his job also at home. Sometimes men clean better than women. It happens. But if you sitting around eating bonbons like Peggy Bundy and he out there cleaning, cooking, and doing it, what does he need you for? What is your purpose? Oh, and the same thing goes for the man too. There are men that don't do anything. You don't cook. You don't clean. You don't work. You don't take care of the kid. You just don't do. And sometimes I guess I can see women more susceptible to dating and marrying a man, because a lot of times as women, we're just looking for somebody to spend the rest of our lives with, and we have a tendency to look past some things and say, you know what, he don't do a lot, but I guess I'll keep him. It's better than being lonely, so we'll do all these things for them. But man, what are you doing? As a man, how is that okay for you just to not do anything? You don't want to work. You want to be fly. You want to have extramarital relationships. You don't want to take care of your kid. You don't want to be in the streets. You don't clean the house. You don't paint the house. You don't do anything. And you have this woman that's loyal to you. How did we get here? How are we, as men and women, being with someone that is not our equal? That whole equally yoked thing that they mentioned in the Bible somewhere, I don't really know where it's at, but they mentioned it somewhere. I remember hearing it growing up. I want somebody that's, we're equals in some way. If I cook, I need you to clean the dishes. If he cooks, I'll clean the dishes. And what I mean by the dishes, I don't mean by, you know, I cook as I clean. I clean as I cook. Whichever way you say it. So I don't mean all that. But I mean, like, once I'm done, I'm not cleaning the oven. No, you can clean it. I'm not cleaning these dishes. You can clean it. And if he does it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the main person that cleans my home. Because one, I know how I want it cleaned. And two, I'm going to do it the way I'm going to make sure it's done. And if he's paying the majority of the bills, he shouldn't have to clean the home as well. He can help me with the house, but he shouldn't have to be the primary person cleaning it. And vice versa. Man, woman, it doesn't matter. It's interchangeable. That primary breadwinner can do a little less. Don't do anything. Because guess what? If we both get up and go to work every day, then we both are doing the same amount. We're both working just as hard. We just might not get paid the same amount. but we both put in that 8 hours. We both have to travel an hour for work. We both have to pick up the kid. So we're both tired. But I'm willing, as a wife who cooks, cleans, and everything else, and goes to work, to do extra because I don't pay as many bills. But anyway, back to my first point. How are y'all marrying these women? Or you get these women and then you complain about it. Or you get this man and you complain about it the whole time. You knew who this lazy person was when you met them. You know they don't do nothing. But yet you with them. It's very, very confusing. I don't get it. I guess some people just want, somebody that looks good on their arm, and they don't care what they come with. I don't know how long that lasts. I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think that's a 50-year marriage. I don't think you're gonna grow old together and die next to each other like in The Notebook. I just don't see that. I know everybody don't know what The Notebook is. I get it, but I like The Notebook. I just don't see it. I don't see Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee marriages working like that. I don't see Denzel and Pauletta marriages working like that. If you don't have any worth, if you bring nothing to the table, yeah, it looks good in the beginning. She's cute. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's the baddest thing alive. So is he. He's handsome. He's fine. He's all that. But if they don't have any substance and they just don't do nothing, not intellectual, not anything, bring nothing to the table, you might as well go ahead and get you an unattractive girl or somebody that's average or mediocre. Shit, I'm average. Okay? Get yourself an average person that brings a bunch of stuff to the table and become your equal, and you can be equally yoked and have a wonderful life together. I'm out.